Welcome to another episode of the Philosophy of Chillin. I'm your host, Dunlap the Connect, and as you can see, we're in a new environment and there are new people sitting right next to me. So if y'all are interested, as you should be, we're going to go ahead and allow them to introduce themselves and let you know who they are.
Dunlap, I'm so happy to have this opportunity to sit down and be back in the A with you now, to be able to really delve into, just some organic and good conversation. My name is Ashriel Moore. I'm the ambassador of the African Diaspora Collective in Israel and a spokesperson for our community, the African Hebrew Israelite community in Israel, which is the largest concentration of African Americans outside of America, any place in the world, and the largest concentration of vegans in any place in the world. So I'm just looking forward to the conversation, looking forward to building with you.
Well, thank you.
Again, appreciate you for this opportunity, Dunlap. I mean, this is just an amazing platform to be on. And my name is Christopher Matthews. I'm the founder of HBCU Inc., which represents Helping Black Communities Unite Incorporated, a nonpartisan nonprofit. We basically educate Black youth at HBCUs and beyond, organizing, reforming, and getting them involved in local politics.
I love it. This is going to be a great conversation, and we're going to hit on a variety of topics. But even for myself, as I get to learn you all just a little bit more and understand you as people outside of the things that you do professionally and how you're trying to educate our community, what was essentially the spark, either encounter or circumstance, that registered the decision to move forward in actually creating communities that are combating frustrations that you see every day?
The blessing that I have is that I didn't have to establish nothing, because I was born into a community that had already been established, right? Because the idea of those people who were the establishers of the community, the pioneers of the movement going back to Israel to reestablish ourselves, they already had in their minds the idea of establishing an alternative, like you said, to the frustrations and to the challenges that we're experiencing right now. And they really wanted real life solutions to these things, because for a long period of time, we talk about the need for change. We talk about the need, to provide an alternative. We talk about the problems. We know all of the problems, right? And then sometimes we even talk about the solutions, right? But then we miss a step. And that's the implementation part of it, right? So we leave it open where now we know the problems, we talk about solutions, but then we don't take that extra step to be able to actually provide the solution. So when we went to Israel, when our community went, the pioneers went to Israel, they said that we're going to actually make it real. We're going to take these problems, we're going to take these challenges, and we're going to say, okay, well, in the environment that we were in, we didn't have the ability to be able to implement the type of change that we needed. We're going to take this responsibility upon our own shoulders now, right? And take our own fate into our own hands. Now, we starting off with a blank check. Whatever we create, this is what it's going to be. We have the capacity now to be able to build exactly what it is that we want. It could be terrible or it could be great, or it can be in the middle. You don't have any limitations on the possibilities that exist. And I'm not looking at it from, an economic perspective or from a social, political perspective. I'm looking at it purely from the necessity for community building, right? Purely that. And so, yeah, obviously we're going to run up against challenges and, lack of funding and all of those things, political disagreements and all of those. But for us, when establishing that community in Israel, and we're going to go deeper into it as we begin the conversation, but I was born into a society like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the frustrations that our people are experiencing today, I haven't even, a lot of us who were born in Israel haven't even experienced those things. We were blessed to not have to experience those frustrations because our parents had taken on the responsibility to provide an alternative and to build a new world where we'll be born into that world and it'll be far away from the frustrations and the challenges that our people are still experiencing here and in a lot of other places in the world. So it's not just, not just in America. I mean, our people are experiencing things all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. you know, and most people, after one generation or two of trying to really implement change and not being able to, like, for example, I mean, we can take the great works that were being done in the 1920s by Marcus Garvey.
Mm-hmm.
But from the moment that, you know, his organization was dismantled, right? He had these trumped up charges against him. He was thrown in jail and then deported. Then he died of a broken heart.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, the movement just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Now you had a lot of, you know, different organizations or people who had borrowed from the principles that he had laid down, and then went and established a lot of other organizations. But for what he was actually standing for, what he was willing to do, I mean, we fallen short big time from that. And so our generation, I mean, we third, fourth generation in Israel already, and building on that. So I was blessed to not have to think about community building in the sense of we need to be able to establish this foundation. My thought is that we need to take what is already existing now and to implement it in other places, so that we could be able to see the type of change that we managed to bring forward in Israel. It's a working model. We know that it works because the results speak for themselves. All we have to do is just take that and to just replicate it in a lot of other places. So, yeah, that's the word from Israel.
Okay.
That's right. Well, honestly, I would say I always had this spark in me ever since I was born. My name is Christopher. You know, my parents taught me what my meaning of my name was. It means bearer of Christ. You know, so I grew up with that mindset of what would Jesus do. You know, so that was always my mindset growing up. And now that's morphed into with our business, HBCU and everything, we say, keep it Messiah. So that's always been like a tradition or like a theme within my life, following the Messiah. And that was just this spark was already in me, but God was nurturing it. Watering me, making it grow, and putting me to a level in which I can manifest some of the kingdom in which he's trying to bring on earth. So yeah, I would say, honestly, I always had it in me. And I don't want to be cocky or in that sense, but I had great parents. You know, I came from a household with a mom and a dad. So seeing them love each other and seeing them operate, seeing how my father was a man and how he would handle the bills, handle the house, and that foundation is what led me to be the man I am today. So yeah, I would just honestly give credit to my parents and give credit to the community that I was raised around. So, yeah.
I love that because it shows the wisdom that's been passed down to you based off of the communities that you have had the privilege of being a part of, which kind of implores me to ask for your vision of innovation, of education, with the communities that you've come from and who you are now and who you have grown from, in recognition of your connection to God, in whatever, aspects those religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs come in. But with that being said, how is it like for you to go through that progression and that really transformation and be able to look back now and say, dang, this is who I was. This is what this relationship brought out of me. And now this is the vision of innovation that I'm trying to implement, given where I'm coming from.
The school that we established in Israel, right? We have our own school. It starts at pre-K all the way to 12th grade, right? And so some of the first things that we learn matriculating through these systems is that the education is not just reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? It's the building of character, personality, right? And
that's a good one.
And so before we even start to study and learn and to count and to know our ABCs, fundamental things like being able to say thank you.
That's right.
Right? Being able to ask and say please.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Referring to, to elders in a respectable manner, right? Bowing your heads. starting the day off with prayer, and the recitation of the 10 Commandments, learning some manners, right? Learning accountability. These are the first things before even getting into the regular curriculum. These are the first things that we are provided there. And so with housing those things and then going out to the world, it's like now you have kind of a slight advantage in the world that is expecting you to act in a certain type of way because they've conditioned us to, or they've created this prototype of who they expect us to be, right? And then you don't act that way.
Yeah.
So they don't even know how to, they would expect you to get, they say we're violent as a people, right? They say we're lazy as a people, they say that we're loud and we vulgar. And I mean, all these things that obviously are not true. Some people may be, but to draw us as that in a society, this is how you build, kind of a record on people, and then based on that, this is how you refer to those people.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be acting towards those people whenever you come into communication with a person of African ancestry, wherever you are in the world, in America, they're approaching you in accordance with what they've already determined that you should be in. And then
That's very true.
and then we don't act like that.
They're so mad.
Right. and then you don't act like that. Right. They were expecting you to get crazy, but you talking to the cop, no, sir. My apologies. You know what I mean? Yeah, give me your ID. There you are, sir. Thank you very much. Going about your business. Now, at times, people will probably think that that's, that you're acquiescing or you being weak. You know what I mean? Because you're not acting, you're not acting out. You're not acting crazy. You're being respectful. But you're actually applying
control,
a mental control of the situation in such a way where you're able to prevent an escalation unnecessarily of the situation that will then cause you to be the one at the end of the day who's going to be harmed from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so the institutions that I come from, they teach you these things as fundamental principles of life.
Yeah.
Before anything else, these fundamental principles of life. So that when you go out to the world, you're going out to the world with an understanding that this is what's going to get you through.
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
So I mean, and if we do implement those things, then we see clearly that they work.
Yeah. I was just about to say, because a lot of the times, one thing, at least on the Western part of the world, that I hear quite frequently is the fact that our education system doesn't adequately prepare, I wouldn't say general, but just the normal student for life after structured learning and the scheduling that it provides and puts on you, and how to do that without someone like mandating, in order for you to get a grade, you have to show up here.
That's right.
So to hear that and the elements that are being educated, it's really refreshing, because these are elements and principles of life that help you get through. Because a lot of the times, I'm friends with a lot of masters in their own respects, and they'll tell you in their old age, young age, whenever they reach that pinnacle of recognition, they'll be like, look, you want to know how I got to where I got? I was able to recognize when to apply my skill sets.
Yes.
And when I actually had to apply, I had the discipline to practice and hone those skills before the moment came that I had to actually enact them. So I definitely recognize with that for sure.
And to piggyback off what you just said, they say pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
Hardship makes men. So being in that position where you're not afraid to take risk, you're not afraid to go out and be a conqueror, be an explorer. And that's what Village of Peace does for us. And knowing what they've done, what Ben and me and the founders have created and being able to do, going from Chicago to Israel, I mean, that's just courage. That shows discipline. And that's what we need to instill into our youth. And also on the topic of classrooms and education, What the school leaves off, that's what the parents need to pick up. In the meantime, obviously, in the real world, we want,
a whole nother conversation right there.
That's right. We want the school systems to educate us and do what we serve our best interests. But that's not always the case.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes private schools, and sometimes it takes building your own school, like the Village of Peace has done, to educate your children and instill those values into them, and not leaving them to the wayside and being like, well, the world will raise them, because that would happen. The world will raise them. Their surroundings will raise them. Their environment will raise them. So it's always about getting back to family, getting back to God, getting back to those principles.
For sure.
And then on top of that, Chris, when you look at the influences, right, on the children, on the youth, even on the adults or whatever, it used to be that the community and parents and the home and the church had a stronger effect on them than what it is today. So social media has a stronger effect on them. Their peers have a stronger effect on them. But when you're in a communal state, and everybody's actually being provided the same values, the same core values, and what they say that it takes a village to raise a child. So that environment is actually going to determine, right, the destiny of that child just based on what this environment is providing to that child. Who are they being influenced by? What are the values they're taking? How is their character being built? Based on, and you just look at the environment and you already know, okay, somebody who's coming out of this environment, most likely they'll be this way. 9 times out of 10, they may be. You may have, outliers or whatever, but 9 times out of 10, somebody who's coming through a specific environment where some of the same principles apply in that environment, then most likely you'll be able to see that in the people.
Yeah.
And so when you look today and you're like, okay, well, what environment is actually raising our children? And
like that.
who's actually the ones who are providing to us the education, right? Because today parents are busy. I mean, they don't have the time, they don't have the capability, they don't have the energy, they don't have the ability to be able to really nurture their children and to provide to their children everything they need so that they can be able to go out to the world and be prepared for this world. This world is vicious. And if you're not prepared for it, then you would easily fall right back into the YN. And not to say that these young children or whatever, they don't. It's not that they bad or whatever, but it's that they don't have a proper environment, a proper village, a proper support system that is able to grant them what they need. So they looking forward, in the presence of they friends, in the presence of whatever, and what society is determining now to be something that's cool, that's acceptable. You looking to receive some attention, you want some attention, you need some hope, and all these things are just symptoms of a greater problem. When you see these things, okay, this is a representation of a problem. So what we need to do is we need to diagnose the problem, go right to the source. We trying to plaster it, and then if it's not holding, then we want to say that the symptom is the problem. This is just a symptom of a greater issue. You know what I mean? But when we put our focus on that greater issue, then we could also be able to alleviate those symptoms that are going to be a cause for it. And the more we allow it to linger on, the worse it's going to get.
Yeah.
This is, you could see how each generation, is progressing in a different way. And it seemed to be getting worse. And it seemed to be getting worse. And all you have to do is just okay, now let's just go back to the drawing board. Where were we in years past? What were we doing that produced this type of man, this type of woman, right? And then are we implementing those things today that are expected to produce such and such and such men? If not, then where do we fall short? If you say that it's yes, then possibly we're not implementing it in the right way. But something is wrong there, and we have to get to the core of the issue.
That's real. And I definitely agree to certain extents because I've been privy enough to be in a different demographic and understand the same issues from different perspectives. So it's always kind of like a battle of who are you recognizing as your support system? Mm-hmm. And based off the recognition of that support, how are you going to utilize those principles to help guide you in making just better decisions for you? Mm-hmm. That doesn't necessarily mean you got to do, at least from what conversations I've had, it ain't about the religious aspect. Mm-hmm. It's not about the religious aspect. Mm-hmm. It's just about you aligning yourself with a higher power that you are willing to recognize and then make decisions based off what that higher power is telling you to do. Yeah. And align yourself with those people and support them appropriately. And to your points, there are a lot of communications that are kind of like trigger words and create stereotypes within our communities. And even some of the things that you're mentioning, those can be trigger words for somebody else, and they're just like, oh, no, that's not. So the reason why I mention this is because you guys are action doers. Yes, right. You see an issue and you build solutions around how to mitigate that problem. Yes, right. With that being said, what are you currently working on now, and what are the issues that you're trying to address?
So I'll go ahead and start there. First off, I want to preface and say the kingdom of God is within you. Right. So what you were talking about and having that Most High, that God's Spirit within you, telling you, guiding your steps, guiding your next movement, that's very important. Yeah. But what I got going on, just kind of touching back on what I have, HBCU Inc., which is a nonprofit, nonpartisan. We're pushing organization, reformation with Black youth, making sure they have their minds on straight. We're making sure that they're their own leaders, giving them their tools that they can be their own shepherd, and not just being a follower. Go out and make your own business. Go out and teach other people and spread the knowledge. So that's what I got going on. This book right here, I'm an author. So we created a coloring book that basically helps out the organization's mission and basically touching on everything. We have the mission, we have Earth, just talking about facts, about, the planets, stars, and have the Village of Peace in here as well, and in the back page. But yeah, just making sure that we're solidifying our legacy. It's the Village of Peace, with Asher Amar. So, just making sure that people understand that it's something bigger than what's currently their current reality. So that addressing that problem. Yeah. Making sure that you can see more, because when you see more, you can do more.
That's real.
And just bringing it home from everything that we've been doing in Israel, right? That we've already implemented. We're just saying, okay, look, we understood there were needs, right? And we mapped them out. These are the needs, right? We want to be able to be in control of our own society. We need a safe and secure environment for our children to be born in. We need institutions that are going to speak to our needs. Yeah. Right? We need to be able to have health practices that are going to reduce a lot of those ailments that our people have been experiencing.
To where they don't have to come back to the same ailment.
And because these things are not hereditary. That's right. You get, and even when you look at it, you say, okay, well, yeah, these things have been passed down from generation to generation, not because they're genetic, but because the practices are continuing. Right? So, so you change that, and what epigenetics says, that even when you change your environment and you change a lot of things that have been relative to your current state, your genetic markers could even change. Yep. So that means that creating that environment, providing for ourselves, and then looking at or assessing where were we, where would we like to go, where are we in the process, right? And then going back to the drawing board whenever we need to get back to it, to go back and to look at where we've been. So the work that we're doing right now is to just simply take that model and say, okay, there's a model here that we've been working on for 50 plus years, right? That has proven to be a successful one. Now, does that mean that there are no flaws in it? No. Does that mean that there are no challenges still that we're up against? No. Does that mean that some things were not done correctly? throughout the process? No, that's not what that means. But what it means is that you have a blueprint.
Yeah.
Now, everybody could be able to use that blueprint and implement it in a way where it makes sense for the environment that you live in.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be different. It's going to be different from place to place. But at least you still can be able to take that and say, this is the foundation. We know that within this system, we know that we need 1, 2, 3. It's going to look different wherever you implement it, but at the same time, 1, 2, 3 would need to be implemented as the core principles. Now you build on that.
Yeah.
From there. So what I'm trying to do, and what I am doing, what we are doing now, is we're just saying to our people, we don't have to reinvent a wheel. We don't have to try to create something out of nothing. We don't have to go back 50 and 60 and 70 years and all of that kind of stuff. We can take exactly what it is right now that already exists. Let's refine it. iPhone started with iPhone 1 and went forward. It didn't start at 15, 16, 17, 18. And then they don't build new models. They just upgrade from the previous one.
Yep.
So all we need to do is just take what we have already from the model that has already been established and just upgrade to a more modern version, a version that is more, that is going to deal with the current issues that we're experiencing right now. We may not be experiencing the same things in 2025 that we were experiencing in the 1960s.
That's true.
The environment is different. The people are different. The culture is different. A lot of things have changed. We've made some progress in certain places. We've regressed in other places. But nonetheless, there's some core things that we're still dealing with that we could be able to get. One, the health practices of our people. The health practices of our people. We can just start there. You know how much that Dunlap, do you know if we can be able to reduce
many issues,
the diseases and the deaths that our people are experiencing just because of the junk that they put in their mouth?
Yeah.
We can be able they say that the 10 most chronic diseases and ailments that our people are experiencing is directly as a result of what they consume. Yep. We can start right there. And then we can start talking about other things. Let's deal with the health in our community. You deal with the health in our community, right? The physical health. Then that's going to also have an effect on the mental health.
Yep. And that energy level. And all of these things then will cause people then to want to change the environment that they live in because they think differently. And they can think more soberly. We're not thinking with our right mind right now. And the results speak for themselves. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I feel that. And it takes actionable steps progressively to be able to accomplish something like that, because the key part is the changing of the environment to change the mind. Because as of right now, in the current environment, the mind ain't changing. It don't want to change. It's comfortable. It's chilling. And, that's cool and all. But at least for me, what drew me to you is the fact that it may make you uncomfortable. I understand that. That's cool. We get it. We respect it. But did God tell you to be here? Yes? No? Okay then. That's why we're here. That's why we're here today. And that's what matters, because at the end of everything, like I've said before, there are way too many Afro leaders in various positions to where a lot of the issues and frustrations that are being experienced globally, if there was a consensus to where, I respect you where you at, cool. However, let's just focus on this actual environment and making it conducive for the souls that we're touching and are responsible for. And that is what I love, because that's what needs protection. The soul is going to tell you what it wants. But have you made sure that soul has felt safe to express what they need. So yeah.
And that goes back to what I said before. The kingdom of God is within you. You know, that soul is that's God within you telling you, is that right? Is that wrong? You know, making sure that you're doing the right thing, and continuing to work to manifest that kingdom. Because once it's one thing to not have it at all. Then there's another thing to have that kingdom within you. And there's another thing to build on that, to actually manifest and pull that kingdom out of you so that your environment reflects that. And that's where we're at today, building that framework. Like you said, everything's already built. Right. You know, like we have the blueprint for HBCUs. Right. Ashura has the blueprint for communities. There's plenty blueprints out there that we can take from and pull from. It's just time to implement it and get into action, you know, and get going. You can't wait for anybody to change your situation, or you can't even change for your environment to change. You have to change yourself. That's where it starts. It's changing yourself. If each of us focus on ourselves and making sure that we're the best version that we possibly can be, and that we can shine our light, you know, so other people can. When you shine your light, people are going to be attracted to that light. So that's all you really have to do. And the people who don't have that light, or who don't want to, you know, accept the truth or be a part of the community, they're naturally just going to get rejected away. You know, and you don't really need those people. You need the people who want to change and want to actually have, you know, something going on, build that kingdom and establish something that's going to last forever. You know, so that's where we're at right now. Yeah,
and I definitely agree. So I have a couple more questions, and then we'll get to the end of the episode, where typically I pass it to you all. And you can ask me any questions, whether it be pertaining to this topic. And honestly, I have an idea for the name that I have for this conversation. But thus far, we've been talking about a variety of things.
I got a question for you on that.
For sure. You already know what you're talking about.
For sure.
So, yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, talking about HBCUs, you're someone who graduated from Howard University. You know, how has that affected you? I'm a 2-time alumni from FAMU. You know, how has that affected your growth and your journey?
That is a good question. I was blessed with what God has put on my life. And I say that because I'm a person that has literally been in every room. It don't matter if it's street, organizational, professional, creative. I've been in there. And I've talked to a lot of what people would consider to be the leaders of these spaces. So being at Howard literally gave me a split between both worlds. Like, I was literally by day student in meetings. I actually helped found and lead a organization that deals with political awareness and education. And it's called Howard Good Trouble. But yeah, I'll give you more information about that. Anyway, basically it just gave me the framework to deal with the multitude of professionals and creatives I meet today, because that literally introduced me to, hey, yeah, you're going to have to be in these meetings in the morning and prepare yourself to be creatively present and professional for these individuals that are trying to independently build themselves outside of these institutional organizations or these infrastructures, XYZ, ABC. And now, more than ever, I'm connected to independent creatives that are trying to get educated, trained, and get their own job placements and host their own negotiations and things of that sort, while also trying to, you know, get on board with these studios and be like, hey, I know y'all need support too, because y'all are seasoned professionals. And at the same time, like, y'all are having a pivot and it can't just be on them. So finding value between both worlds. That's what Howard taught me. So, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate your question.
And I'm gonna ask you, Chris, though, because I really want to know, when you working now in community building, right, with the HBCU Inc. or whatever, what would you say right now, because we're dealing with mostly young people, right? What would you say right now are some of the most outstanding challenges that you're experiencing right now in trying to really bring all of these things, these pieces together to be able to provide an alternative through HBCU Inc. for the young people?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a really good question. I would honestly say the biggest challenge is mindset. So we have our own community garden. We have one at FAMU in Howard. So just making sure that when the students come out there, they're not thinking about slavery.
Yeah,
You know, that's the
facts.
first thing people every time people come out there. Oh man, I feel like a slave.
That's it,
That's,
true.
and that's that's something you can't really I'm Black, so I understand. I felt the same way when I first got into it. I had that same mindset. But it's breaking that mindset down and saying, hey, these crops that we're growing are going to the school. Students are coming out here and taking these crops. This is something that we're doing independently. We fund our own projects. We have the mayor of Tallahassee. We have compost that we're changing legislation and policy in the city, getting compost and making sure we're doing independent work. So this is not slavery. This is not a task. It's not an obligation, but we're actually building for ourselves and making sure they're getting back to that power of self and wanting to do something for yourself. Because once you tell them, once you tell them, hey, we own this land. This is ours. These crops, they're going to either you or the family pantry. So having that mindset of, okay, this is something that I can get a part of because I know it's going to help and it's visibly going to help.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they don't see a visible change. If they don't see a visible change, they don't think it's any change happening.
Yeah, that's fact.
So it's like straddling the fence of both worlds of being progressive, on the back end, but also, showing enough progression on the front end where you're seeing people change. That person may have came in doing whatever they came in. They never even thought about Black power or talking about, changing their lives. But because they came to our organization or they seen somebody in the organization, that mindset, it shifts.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can be like that person. I can do what they're doing. And that's the biggest thing is making sure that we have positive examples, even if they're young, because a lot of times the young people have to see other young people doing it.
Yeah.
And that's why we have rappers who are so popular like NBA Youngboy and everybody else, because you see somebody close to your age, you're like, oh, wow, I want to be cool like them. So it's having those examples and those role models who are close to you and close in age. I think that's the biggest challenge that we have right now is pumping out more good quality people, good fruit, and making sure that people who are joining the organization are understanding what the purpose of what we're doing. We're not just doing that. I was going to say, we're not the NAACP, but we're not just activists doing what we're doing just to do it. We're building something that's hopefully it's going to lead into a community that's going to lead, hopefully you can have a family. We're doing something that's going to change the paradigm in which we live. So.
That's good. I had another question because that actually was one of my questions. So I'm glad that you asked that because that's something that I get feedback from when it comes to educators all the time nowadays. Like that'll be one of their main challenge points. Like, hey, this student is talented, but I don't know what to do with them given the lessons that I've been provided by the school versus what they actually need to stay engaged and locked in for the duration that they're here. So that's very interesting that you say that even at a collegiate level, it's like, okay, we have to make sure that we instill in you that you acknowledge the differences between what you're told and what the opportunities that you have today.
And what you just said, like you said, most teachers, they can recognize, he already has that creative ability. I go back to the kingdom of God being within you. It's just pulling that creativity out of them. It's like, I already know you're good at art. I already know you're good at photography. It's just pulling that talent out of you, making sure that, okay, because most of the time, I'm the artist, I'm a fashion person, or I'm just going to join a company, or I'm going to get hired, I'm going to wait till I graduate. It's like, you can start a project now. You can start a business now and work on what you're doing. Like photography, the best place to do that is colleges.
Yeah,
they especially get started off the ground. So like
graduation? Come on
exactly,
now. Everybody need a photographer.
Exactly. So just pulling that out of them and be like, hey, you can do it too. Like you don't have to wait. Like what are you waiting for? You got it already in you.
Yeah, I definitely agree because. To your point too, that's one of the main things I saw at Howard. These are these independent students who have their visions of what they try to accomplish. Granted, they still got some growing to do. So do I, always. But at the end of the day, they were literally making, okay, you need a photographer? Like, shoot, I got you. I'm going to test this out till I perfect it. And now, they're making names for themselves. They're having their own brands and platforms and, getting their clients. So definitely pulling that out that's amazing work, bro. For real.
And I'm just mentioning about the importance right now of continuing to instill into the young people the importance of community. What type of effect would so many people who think alike have in an environment that you have all dedicated yourselves to doing something good and positive? What can come out of that? You know what I mean? People, like-minded people, because just like like-minded people come together, for nonsense, you could also come together for greatness and create.
That's
and it's a fine line between, doing something that is going to be exceptionally great and doing something that's just going to be detrimental. It's the same process.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same process of implementation. It's the same. It's the same process.
Yeah.
It's all good. But one is going to lead you to damnation, and one is going to lead you to exaltation. And we just have to choose which process are we willing to invest the time and energy into.
Yeah.
Because you have to invest time and energy into either one.
Yeah.
Right? You can't do both of them together. You can't serve two masters. So you looking at the results and you're saying, okay, well, because these are the results that we're receiving, that means that we're implementing this one. So now we make it cool to do something that is progressive for the community, that'll be able to bring good results back to our people and uplift them from the current conditions of life that they're in right now, and to put them in a way better. Make that something that people actually want to do.
Yeah.
That people want to do because they're looking at the results on the other side of it. If it's about some money, we can get you some money. We know people, who got money, who've been doing great things for the community. And there's always people who are looking to invest in something that is progressive and something that is positive.
You just gotta find them.
They exist. We don't even have to just find them. It's just because the media and the social media is so saturated with nonsense.
That's real.
That everything else kind of take the back seat. So you would think that this is because this is the loud minority. So you would believe with all your heart that this is what it is right here. But then when you actually start to invest time and energy into it, you're like, oh, this is all the matrix. This is a facade. We're operating in a system that's not even real. That's right. Yeah. And we have to pull out of that system and just start implementing things now that'll be in our favor. And we have the power to do so.
Yeah.
Which pill do you want to take? You want the red pill, you want the blue pill. And then they let you know that this one is going to lead to that. This isn't going to lead to that. Now you're making a conscious decision, right? Yeah. About where you're going to end up at later on.
That's right.
Us as individuals, us as families, us as communities, us as a nation, us globally, making certain decisions are going to lead to this relative law. And if we start to implement that, in, like I say, at home in Israel, we starting at pre-K.
Yeah.
With fundamental things. Awesome. Fundamental things. Yeah. Because you come out.
And they're not the only ones either. Like,
no, we don't. It's happening in other places. But imagine this, though. Imagine this. You go to school from 1st grade to 12th grade. Then you come out of 12th grade. You graduate. Now you got to go to college. You finish college, now you got to go into the workforce. They tell you in the workforce now that you need XYZ amount of years of experience. Now you get XYZ amount of experience. Now they're saying that in order for you to be able to level up, you need to do some more da-da-da. So it's like you always in a consistent rat race, right? And in that rat race, what you're doing is you're actually building up somebody else's society. Yeah. So all that energy, all of that time, all of that vision, you helping them to implement what they saw as a vision for a couple dollars, and you exchanging an hour of your life for $20, $15, $30, whatever that may be.
And the hour is priceless. Yep. Real talk.
You can't get that back.
You're right. You can't.
You can't get that back. So putting the emphasis now on us starting to do things that'll be in our favor. That'll be able to continue to strengthen us, so that we wouldn't need to have to ask for any handouts from anybody else. But we come to the table from a position of power because we have some leverage.
Yeah.
To be able to use. To be able to do so. So these things, you going through all these, matriculating through these systems, and the system itself is just built to be able to just put you into that circle of operation on that plantation, basically, to keep you there. That's what they're not building minds for people that are looking to build worlds. They're conditioning your mind to be able to just get right from school into their system and then operate in their system. That's all it's about.
Yeah, because even when you think about it, as a child, you're in school most of the time from 8 a.m.
That's right.
Maybe 7:15, 7:30.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If your parent got to drop you off and you got to be there a little early.
We play sports.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, don't get into that one. we talking about 7:15, 7:30, about like 6, 8.
That's
Ain't
right.
talking about
That's right.
trying to do extracurriculars.
That's right.
Not including the homework.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yo.
Yep.
So it's in there for sure.
Yeah.
It's there.
And I would say, honestly, to go back to what Ashriel was talking about, it really isn't about hating anybody or being angry at all. Love builds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're in that mindset of, I love everybody. I don't have a problem with saying that. I don't hate anybody. So you're moving with that mindset of, I'm just trying to do for all humanity. But obviously I'm gonna start with my people first. But we're going to move forward to all humanity because in Revelations talks about you'll see all nations, all tongues, there in the kingdom.
Yeah.
So we're not moving with that mindset because hate destroys, anger destroys.
Yeah.
Say God is love.
You in the process too.
Yeah.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Along with everybody else. That's right.
That's right.
You know what I'm telling you?
That's right.
So with that being said, I got one more question, and then if y'all have any more questions for me, please feel free. But I wanted to know, honestly, we've touched on so many things, and especially for you, Ashriel, you are from Israel,
That's
and
right.
you are here as a visitor, making sure that you're connecting with your people while you're in this space.
That's right.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you, and also pointing to you as well, because in my perspective, American society is very siloed. We have elements that bring us together, but there are stronger elements that give reason as to why people should be apart and be in their separate organizations instead of being like, oh, well, you do this in this different area? Okay, well, I got these resources that's available. I'm going to prioritize my person.
That's right.
But at the same time, I don't really want you to have it if my person got it. And they can, you know what I'm saying? And with that, I recognize why. Because it's been built into a lot of organizations as far as like take care of your people.
Right.
And if your people are taken care of, then you can keep going. So with that being said, based off of you all's experiences in Israel versus what you experience here in the Western societies, your experiences building your community, especially in Florida and everything like that, what is your vision towards Afro connectivity?
So, as I said, one of my portfolios is the ambassador of the African diaspora in Israel.
Yep.
So, we already talking about the various communities. People are not even aware of the fact that there are Black people in Israel. And so the first thing is that educational aspect, to be able to help people to be able to conceive things in a different manner, because we have to take on the responsibility once again to shape the narrative. Yeah. Right? Because so long as other people are shaping the narrative for us, now we just have to get in line with it. It's not that we don't understand what's going on, but it's that information, the correct information that is relative to us, is being omitted. So we don't even know to ask certain things about, because we don't know how much we don't know about the situation, about the country, about what's going on that end. So you don't even know what to ask.
Yeah.
You know, or you don't know what not to ask in
Or
regards
what to look for.
or what to look for. It just doesn't exist. So, you know, so help starting from there. Right? We have to rewire the brain.
Yeah.
Once again, so that the brain could start thinking in a way that is, we have to, you know, there's a term they say to decolonize the brain, right? We have to decolonize the brain and get away from, you know, that Western mentality, and once again apply an African, you know, idea to everything that we're doing, right? Think with an African mind, right? And then we'll see things totally differently, you know, from what we see now. And so, starting with that, rewiring the brain, understanding that we're the ones who need to, once again, be responsible for shaping our own narrative, right?
That's good.
And then understanding what we've managed to build communally in Israel, and then seeing what is, and if it is, good and right for our people.
Yeah.
And then implementing those things right here or and wherever in the world, right? Using these things, you know, as the foundation for proper change in the midst of our people. That's my vision.
Yeah.
That's my vision. I don't want to do nothing new.
Yeah.
The problem has always been that we never did enough of what we already have. We always looking for something else.
Yeah.
Everything that we need already exists, right? All we have to do is just pull from it. Pull from that muscle memory about, you know, of things that, because you know, each of us are spirit beings that are just housing a body. We're not a body with a spirit. And so those spirits, they've been here before.
Most definitely.
You know, they've been here before. So we can just call on the ancestral memory that we have in us from thousands of years, that these spirits have just taken on different vessels so they can be able to continue the work that is necessary on this earth. Call them back into action and ask them to assist us and to direct us in the way where it'll be good for us based on things that had already worked in the past. And then we can go from there. Right? So my vision is to shape. I want your. My leader Ben Ami says that he is a brain surgeon, a mind surgeon. I'm trying to go into your brain to recognize where that tumor is in your brain, what is stopping the flow of this information into your mind that is preventing you from being able to think as an African person and to implement an African idea to an African problem so that we can be able to get results that are based on or based in the necessities of African people. So I got to get in there.
Yeah.
I got to get in there, do some work, then come back out. It's gonna take some. We're gonna have to have some healing time.
Yeah, I was just about to say they gotta let you in.
So we gonna have to get in there somehow.
Yeah,
you know, and we gotta get in there. Otherwise, just like cancer, the more you allow it to continue to grow and to spread, the less possible it'll be for you at that point to be able to overcome it and treat it.
Yeah.
So we have to, these cancerous thoughts and actions and this cancerous mentality has been running rapid in our brains. So it's time for us to now go into surgery, get that out, replace that with an African mind, an African spirit, an African mentality, an African desire that's going to bring, solutions to African problems. Close your brain back up, close your mind back up, allow you to be able to heal from that surgery. And now you're going to start acting like us. We're going to start doing things that are in our best interest. That's my vision. That's my vision.
Well, honestly, I'm just going to piggyback off what you just said. My vision is the kingdom of God, and what Ashriel just said, shifting the mindsets. Yes. That's where it starts. And quoting the Honorable Ben Ami, what he talks about, he says a war in the elevated places.
That's right.
The elevated places is your mind.
That's right.
It's a war in heaven.
That's right.
And making sure I keep emphasizing the kingdom, there's
That's
a
right.
king in that kingdom.
That's right.
And making sure that king is king in your mind.
That's right.
You know, making sure that Yeshua, you say Yeshua is king, Jesus is king, but making sure he's actually king in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the kingdom of God is. So making sure that king is on his throne. That's my goal. You know, making sure that more of us have that mindset that we're just gonna operate in love. You know, we're gonna build, not throwing the past behind us per se, but understanding the past, understanding our history, understanding the world around us, and creating something that works in our best interest. And that's what Village of Peace. Keep pointing back to it. I mean, that's just something that we have to duplicate.
That's right.
And not only just, that's something we have to duplicate, right? That's really where we're at right now. We already have the blueprint. We just need more communities like the Village of Peace. You know, that's where we're at right now. So.
Okay.
And then as the last question, I'm gonna ask you that same question.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right? Because I want to know from you, once we begin this process of reconstructing the minds of our people, right? And directing them in a way where now they'll be able to think in terms of what is good and right for us so that we can be able to operate in that sense. Where would you say that we should start?
That's a good question.
In institutions, in the school, because some people say we need to get in politics and change it from within there. Some people say we need to get in the schools and educate the children. Some people say we need to get to the homes. Some people say we need to get them back into church. Some people say that we need to get to the children on the street corners, go down there, talk to the gangsters down there. Some people say, there's just a lot of stuff just running around or whatever out there. What do you think is the starting point for us? Just in your own opinion, or the top three.
Ooh, that's smooth. I can do top three. But to try to answer the original question, and this is not coming from any personal viewpoints or experiences. What I'm communicating now is but coming to me through a vessel channel. And I say that because some people may not agree with what I gotta say. And that's fine. I don't care. I am essentially here to make sure that the vision of connectivity that I'm trying to build is essentially recognition of the soul.
That's right.
Which is where I believe we need to start, because recognizing how people acknowledge themselves and how they host their self-communication is essential to me in that addressing of who are you deriving your guidance from? Is it that African mindset? Do you see a problem with the fact that how you are thinking is different from what was given to you? And essentially, it's so many other silos that I can go down. But the only reason I mention that is because if we're talking about who to start off with or what community to start off with, it depends on our leaders.
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, let's just put it on the table, bro. What do you believe? What are you willing to support? And okay, now that we have that transparently, now let's start making sure what you're advocating for, if nothing else of what you're saying, make sure it's still rooted in the message of acknowledge the spirit. That's the whole point of what we're trying to do. Acknowledge the spirit, you make your decisions. If you can trust in the spirit that is guiding you, in the decisions that you're making, in the relationships that you're going into, in who you're building with, go ahead. That's between you and God. That's above me. I done read books. I done read the religions. I done read every culture. We can go into the details if you want to. At the end of the day, what is God, Allah, telling you to do for what they have given in you? That's where I feel like we need to start, because there's so many aspects, even in regards to African men and African women. Like, yes, everyone serves their purpose. That's not a problem. that's just genetics. We get it. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why there's a woman's soul and there's a male soul. Either or need to be recognized and respected. Because if it's not and it's unequal, what do you think is gonna happen?
The lab is cooking.
Like, I'm just saying, like, it's so many men I'm around. They be like, yeah, the scorn of a woman. What do you think?
Right,
Why do you think a female soul was created? It is a literal reflection of you. Like, you can't be hurt. Like, I'm just saying. But we're not gonna get into that. That's a whole nother conversation. But to answer your question, that's the vision of connectivity. Like, it don't matter what you believe, that's fine. Whatever the spirit put in you, cool.
Yeah.
But it's about how we're supporting each other to get to what God told us to do. That's all I care about.
That's right. And like you just said, not spiritual gangbanging. Ashriel uses this term, but not getting to that point where we're gangbanging our spiritual system.
Yeah, that's real.
At the end, even if we like Christian, if we're talking about Abrahamic religions, you're not talking about African religion, you know. So like you always can gangbang with the spirituality, you know.
You try to get into it.
And like you just said, being the best versions of ourselves is the best thing. If when our women are the best version of themselves, we're gonna be the best version of ourselves. When the man is the best version of himself, you're gonna see that reflect in the woman. And not only that, now we're both at the best version of ourselves. That's gonna reflect in the community.
Yeah,
the community's gonna be
every
the best
single
version.
time.
So
where you supposed to be is where you will be.
You're on the money.
I ain't got nothing else to say. After that.
I appreciate y'all. And with that being said, literally, like, this conversation is gonna continue without you. Like, we can sit here and talk all day, honestly. But y'all have to go, and so do we. So can you all remind them of who you are again, what you're championing, and how they can connect with you?
Okay, so again, my name is Ashriel Moore. I'm the ambassador of the African Diaspora Collective in Israel and a representative of the African Hebrew Israelite community in Dimona, which is the largest concentration of African Americans outside of America. And you can connect with me through Instagram at Ashriel Moore, ASHRIELMOORE. That's on all platforms, by the way, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and then via email, which is MOORE. It's just the family name first, and then afterwards my name. So MOORE, and then Ashriel, ASHRIEL @gmail.com.
Well, again, I'm Christopher Matthews. I have HBCU Inc., which is Helping Black Communities Unite Incorporated. We're a nationwide nonprofit. We operate at majority of the HBCUs down south and up north. So you can find us at hbcuinc.org, Helping Black Communities Unite Incorporated on LinkedIn, or HBCU Inc. on Instagram. This coloring book, we have other merchandise on there as well. You can find this on the website or in our Instagram bio. We actually got that up and running now, so you can just go to our Instagram bio and shop. So yeah, Christopher Matthews. I see myself furthering HBCUs and furthering our community so that we can get closer to that kingdom of God.
Man, I am so grateful to have these gentlemen here with me today. We're gonna keep going. So y'all stay tuned for another episode. I'm out. Peace.
God bless y'all.